Okay, so I hope everyone can hear us. I hope the sound is good. Okay, hello everyone. If you can hear me, just say so, just in case.
I can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. That's at least the best thing I could. That's the best thing that could at least happen. So I hope some people. Okay, at least the sound seems to work. Little quiet. Let's say I will try to. I'm not sure I can how I can get the sound any louder. Okay, so my mic is a bit low. Okay, that's definitely me. Little Daniels is good, so at least people seems to have a good grasp of your voice. Okay, so it's okay. Should be. Do you hear me any better, or just to have a proper? So like it's more like the max. Okay. So, hello everyone, and thank you for coming to our second episode of Talking
Very good.
about the Devil.
Better than most Americans that I know.
And today I have the great pleasure of welcoming uh, Miss Danielle Burgio. I hope the pronunciation is okay. Okay. Oh,
Sure. Hi, everyone.
that's
Yes, I
perfect.
am Danielle Burgio,
So you
and
are an actress,
that's right. I'm an actress.
not only an actress but a
A
stunt woman,
semi-retired stunt
as
woman
well
at
as
this
a
point. I
writer,
did that for about
director
20
of
years. I'm
many
not
small
really
movies.
that any
So how
longer, but I
about
had
you
a lot of
introduce a
fun
bit
doing a lot of
yourself
great movies, doing
to those
stunts.
who are watching
Actually
right now?
started my career as a dancer, um, which is probably a good segue into doing some of the motion capture work that I did, and I also did the voice for Trish on Devil May Cry 4. Yeah, and now I'm more into some writing and producing and jewelry making.
Oh. Yeah, indeed. I just found out just before the stream I started that
Yeah,
you
I love
actually have
crystals, and
a
it's really
shiny
just more of a
piece
hobby than anything
shop,
else.
which
But
is
especially during all this quarantine
so
time, I've had
delightful.
a lot of
Yes,
time to make
I
jewelry.
guess
I just love doing it. It's
we'll
kind of my
include some
passion. So,
description for
but
those
my
who
work
don't
is still in the
specifically
entertainment
like
business,
handcrafting.
and I've been in that business
So
for
X.
almost 30 years, a long time. So,
Yeah,
yes.
so maybe you keep doing that. Well, let's hope that we don't have this COVID stuff going on because well, it's not necessarily good for meeting the
Yeah, I
friends
think
and everyone.
we
So
actually
you said
moved
you
when I was like
started
in the middle of the
by
fifth
dancing.
grade. My parents moved us
So is it
from
something
New
that
York
you
to North
liked
Carolina,
since you were a child?
and
So something
in
that
an
you always
effort
enjoyed
to
putting together?
help make better friends quicker. That's a pretty rough thing to do to a kid, 11 years old. My mom put me in dance class, and
Mm-hmm.
I just clicked with it. I took to it. It just felt like me. When you do something and it just feels right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was sort of my first introduction into the entertainment world. So I just dove in to being a dancer, and immediately I was like, this is what I want to do. And then I loved being on stage. We would do stage productions, and then I started doing plays and acting. So as soon as I was out of high school, and able to to go spread my wings, I went to New York and I auditioned for my very first audition was for Starlight Express on Broadway.
Mhm.
And I actually booked the job, which is pretty rare to get your first audition. My parents had sort of prepped me and said, okay, it's probably going to take years before before you actually gain any success. And so straight out the gate, that was my first job. And funny enough, if you know the show, it was on roller skates. I think it was like a little foreshadowing to doing stunts because I never thought in a million years I would become a stunt woman. I just thought I was going to dance and then I was going to be an actress. And I knew I wanted to go from stage to more of TV and film. That I knew. But yeah, I never thought I would get into stunts. And so I started in New York and then eventually moved out to LA, and that's when the stunt world kind of opened up for me.
Yeah, that's quite a road. And actually, there's someone named Simon Leach. What style of dance did you study? Because there are lots of various styles. My father likes dancing in a way, but probably not the same kind. But just in case, what kind did you study?
Yeah, when I started, it was mostly jazz and tap. I actually was really good at tap when I was younger. I don't think I have the muscles in my feet to be able to do it anymore, but that's how I started. And then doing more of the stage productions. I was doing a lot of musical theater kind of work, but it was primarily jazz. And then as I got older and I got more really serious about dancing, then of course I started studying ballet, modern, contemporary. I actually went to North Carolina School of Performing Arts for 2 summers. And one summer I studied ballet, and the other summer I studied modern dance, which I actually love. Now, my favorite, because I don't dance professionally anymore, but I love to still dance, and contemporary dance class is my favorite. So
Yes,
good.
it sounds like a big. I thought about dancing since I followed you on Twitter for quite some time, and I actually stumbled upon this tweet. And just before that, I'm going to amp up my mic because apparently they don't hear me this well. And this tweet, I will quote you because what you wrote about them was really beautiful. Dancing is not just getting up painlessly like a leaf blown on the wind. Dancing is when you tear your heart out and rise out of your body to hang suspended between the worlds. That's beautiful. I mean, I'm not into dancing, but
Yeah, there's something there's something really special about it, especially for me. Um, I think when I was younger,
mhm.
I don't think I really had a very strong voice. And so for me, dancing was really like being able to express myself and being able to um, release a lot of, you know, kids go through a lot. And I think I was holding on to a lot of emotions and a lot of stress in some ways. And that it was such a beautiful release for me. So for me, it helps me get grounded, helps me connect with myself, my body, like its expression. It's honestly, it's something spiritual for me.
And yet dancing ballet seems quite something quite technical, and the moves overall seems like taking quite a toll on the body. How do you manage to let yourself express despite the potential strain? Uh,
Yeah, it's excuse me, I do not have COVID. I feel like you have to say that every time you call. We've
I
had all
actually had.
these fires out here in California, and ever since then, I've been having a little bit of a respiratory thing going on. Mm. But yes, there is that super technical aspect to dancing, and I think what happens for me, and it's with stunts as well, like you have to be able to master the technical side of it, and then once you've got that solid, it's like being an actor too. Once you've learned the lines, right? There's the technical side of it. Then that has to be so strong. Then you're able to like let go and just let that
Uh-huh.
be there as your foundation, and then let yourself like kind of just be free. So I find that it's the same with stunts, with dance, and with acting. Um, And you mentioned something about the physical toll it takes on your body. It's funny because when I started doing stunts, people would always ask me like, "Oh gosh, isn't that so hard on your body?" And yes, it is. But for me, being a dancer was even harder on my body because when you're a dancer, when I was doing shows, we would be in rehearsal for 8 or 10 hours, working our body over and over and over and
Oh my
over.
God.
And so all my joints hurt. I had things going on in my hips and my knees and my shoulders and my neck and everything. And then doing stunts, a lot of times, like you're training when you're not working and
Mhm.
you train hard, but you don't train for 10 hours a day. Or I don't anyway.
Uh, maybe NBA players do, but that's it.
Yeah. But then, a lot of times you're sitting on set for, 8, 10, 12 hours, and then you go and you do one big stunt. Sometimes you get lucky and you're on a set where you're working in a lot of shots and you're working all day. I always prefer that. It's so much better than sitting around for 8 hours and then having to jump off a building. I'd rather be shooting a fight scene all day. But dancing in a lot of ways was harder on my body. In some ways. And then there's the stunt where you have to like get slammed into a moving train or something, which I've never done. I made that up. But
I guess that's why you wrote a book actually about how to get your body ready for doing stunts. So the name is The Sportswoman That Works Out, Get Your Body Ready for Anything. So maybe this is out of this whole experience.
yeah, I actually did from my stunt work. I got to do a show called Worst Case Scenario, where
Yeah.
I co-hosted, and I got to. I think my name was Gadget Girl, and every week I would demonstrate a different gadget. Well, this was
Oh.
the producers of the show had written a book called Worst Case Scenario, and it was very popular at the time. So they said to me, "We'd like to do a book with you,
Hmm.
the Stunt Woman's Guide to blank something. What do you want to do?" I was like, "I don't know." So they said, Let's do a workout book. That makes sense." And I thought, well, I hate working out. Like I'm the first person to write a book about working out because I don't like working out.
Yeah,
Um,
makes sense. I mean, I don't like either.
so the book is actually because I'm like, find your passion, right? Find what everybody's passionate about something. Some people are natural born swimmers. Some are natural born climbers. Some people like to play tennis. I don't. Some people like to, there's something that everybody likes to do. So
Yeah.
the idea of the book is to find what you love to do and then build your workout around that. So, if you are a tennis player, you need the really quick, I don't even, I shouldn't have used that as an example because I don't play tennis, but
That's okay.
say,
Go ahead.
and you need the really good forearm strength. So now you can be inspired to work out, to build your forearm strength, to make your climbing easier. And then so the book kind of cross references different exercises for different activities and helping people figure out maybe what is good for them, what they love to do. And it's about getting out there instead of being in gym, getting out on the waves and to surf if you love surfing, or getting out to, just basically having a more physical lifestyle, um, as opposed to just, pumping iron. But there's tons of exercises and there's some fun tips. Like if you want to learn to do a standing front flip, or something that's a little more stunty, like different exercises to help you tone the muscles to figure out like,
I think I have a lot of work to do if I ever hope to do that one day. Like right now, I just have trouble walking, so maybe I have to wait a bit and train before I can even hope doing a flip.
well, there's
And from that you transition to sorry, you are going to add something, and maybe I.
oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, if you have an injury, there's good things in the book about like therapy. A lot of stunt people definitely know how to deal with injuries. So, some of the tips about some of the things we like to use.
Excellent. And from dancing, you transition into martial arts. So when did you what was your first martial art actually?
To be honest with you, I've never had any formal martial arts training. All of my martial arts training has been, and I've done a lot, but it's all been when I got into the stunt business.
Mm.
And this will be an interesting connection. So one of the first friends that I made in the stunt business is Dan Southworth, who
Oh.
on the Devil May Cry series. So he's a very, very good friend of mine. And when I very first started stunts, I started training with him and another friend of ours, Mitch Gould, who's a great stuntman, stunt coordinator, also writer, producer. And those two guys really, they took me under their wing and they trained me in the first part of my martial arts. And it was no joke. they would, they really put me through the ringer. Like seriously, like we'd be sparring and their forearms would be bleeding and they'd come on, hit
Oh my
harder.
God.
Invite me to like, do I want to go out and like punch bricks with them? I was like, no, I don't want to punch bricks. Like I'm a girl. You guys go punch bricks. I'm good. But no, they did. They were amazing. They taught me so much, and they're the ones that really got me started. And then throughout time on all my jobs, I got to train with different people. Um, I worked with on the Matrix, and I worked with some of like Chad Stahelski, who's the fight director, fight coordinator on that, who's now big director for John Wick and all that. I got to train with people like him and some of his guys, and then Wu Ping and his team that was on Matrix. So or Jeff Imada, who's in the martial arts world, a god, just training with different people on different jobs. But overall, I'm a hack. I'm not really a martial artist.
So for the notice for people watching us, so you actually did the stunts for Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. So
Yeah.
I read that and I was wow, some serious client here, and I hope I will have a chance to blame Dan for putting maybe a bit for going a bit rough on you. Well, once I'm able to sort out his own episode, I'm going to give you a piece of my word.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, well, that's pretty interesting. And so if in the meantime, so if fans have a couple of questions, I will start noting them. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask you a simple question. What's the favorite movie that you love doing stunts for?
Well, I mean, certainly the Matrix sequels were, the biggest, most amazing movies I got to work on when I very, very first started in stunts. I remember going to the movie theater and sitting there and watching Trinity on that screen, and I was like, wow, I want to do. So the fact that, that had such a huge impact on me, that film, for so many reasons. Um, and then just getting to be a part of that world when they did the sequels, like that was life changing. And it was career changing, getting that job then set me off on a pretty great career path, and it's something I'm very proud to have been a part of. But in terms of actually loving like being on a set,
Mhm.
um, is the question just for stunts or just in general?
Oh well, you can also give it for general. I mean,
Well, I did last summer.
mhm.
I got to work on Army of the Dead with Zack Snyder, and that was like a dream come true beyond anything I could have ever hoped for. It was working with Zack is an actor's dream. Actually, whether you're an actor, a stunt person, a crew member, like it's a dream scenario to work with him. Um, and the project itself is just so amazing and so cool. So that'll be out. It was going to come out the end of this year, but I think it's been pushed until 2021 now, and it'll come out on Netflix. So that one it was so much fun. I love my character. I love working with Zach. I loved working with everybody. It was fantastic crew, cast. Um, yeah, definitely the highlight of my career. So
Excellent. I mean, that's nice to hear. Looks like you really had
a really good time. It just shows the way you're smiling and stuff. It really shows you really enjoyed it. Some people already shoot some questions, so they're really quick to it, and they are gently jumping into the DMC4 area of the interview. So I will start. So this is well, YouTube user Ikarusora. Uh, Her real name is Claudia. She's been doing translating work for the Devil May Cry 5 Vision of the manga. So props to her, a big shout out to her. So she says, "Hello, Miss Burgio. I love Gloria's fight scene from DMC4. Can you tell us something about it, from what you can recall when you did that scene? Were you shown the vision of how it was supposed to be like from the staff, or did you improve on it in some way?" Big long question.
Well, Claudia, thank you. I love Gloria too. She's so awesome. And I love that scene. That was really, really fun to do. I didn't really have any creative input in that. That was all the team that put that together, and I was just the puppet, really. So cool to be able to do it in the motion capture world because, obviously it looks so much more spectacular when it hits the screen. But we worked with some wires for that. And I think that, a lot, my dance background really worked well in that scene, even more than stunts, because on the motion capture set, you're not necessarily working directly with other people. They're just capturing my body image. And because it's so like slow motion and graceful, it was really, really fun. And we shoot in like little sections.
Mm-hmm.
So they would show me some of the guys who are phenomenally talented, and they're the ones that design the scene. So then they come in and they show me like bit by bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first we do this sequence. And so you can kind of break it down and make it really precise and specific. And yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled with the way it came out. That's one of my favorite scenes in the whole game.
All right, excellent. So in the same for around the same topic, so Alexei V asked, "I love the house, by the way, first of all, and, and how did the character of Trish from the original Devil May Cry, so Devil May Cry 1 from 2001, influence your performance as Trish in DMC4, if at all?"
I have to be honest that I am not a gamer.
It's fine.
So I never saw the original Trish before I stepped into her shoes. And again, I was taking the direction from the director and Ruben, actually, who you guys know as Dante. Ruben's the one that brought me on, and so I was always leaning on him to give me the direction. But just to be able to see the image of Trish, like you can kind of look at her and go, "Oh, I know her," and that sort of sassiness and all that she has and brings. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a bit, how can I say, a bit teasy, not necessarily in cliche, but she's badass and she has a bit of this side, but not necessarily in cliche way. Yeah, that makes her so attractive, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of an attitude, and
well, of
she
course.
definitely is her own woman. I love them. It was really, I mean, getting to do both Trish and Gloria. It was like a double bonus when I found out that I got to do Gloria as well as Trish. That was really one of the most fun characters that I've ever got to play. And I did a couple of games, but I've never, this is the only game that I did both the motion capture and the voice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's extra special to me. And also just because, I mean, the fans of Devil May Cry are literally the best. It's been really cool. It's really, really cool to be able to interact with everybody. Really fun.
Yeah, I hear you were invited several times. Like, for example, last year there was an event in London hosted by my buddy Armoury, Christoph. So yeah, you asked to participate a bit, and you seem to always be positive about it, and you just, even if you're not, as you say, a gamer, which it's not an issue, you're still involved, dedicated, or like whenever a fan calls, you're just answering. So that's great for, especially since DMC4 was your uh, only game of a franchise. I mean, for me, that's great. Just
Thank you. Yeah, it's so much fun for me. I love being involved as much as I can. So
And well, I had one or two question about DMC4, but that actually went a bit. I was a bit caught in my momentum in asking them because some part of it was already answered. So I try to make it sound natural. Um, First of all, well, you kind of sold out that Ruben was the one who got you in the game, but what I'm interested in is how you came into going into an audition for the game. First of all, since it was, if my memory serves right, your first game in which you're doing something.
well, actually, I think it was Ruben that got me involved in my very first game, which was not Devil May Cry. It was Tao Feng.
Okay.
Feng was my first one, and I only did the motion capture for that, and it was Ruben that gave me the job. So Ruben and I knew each other through stunts,
Mm.
and through Dan, Dan Southworth. We were all just sort of in the
Team.
little we worked together a lot on other, on TV shows and movies and things like that. So, and he knew that I was a dancer, had just the right, the right body size, the right skill, the whatever. So we did Tao Feng, and then we did Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Devil May Cry was the next one.
Wow.
That brought me in for. And I went in to audition for all the producers and all that. And then I got the job, and we went over to Japan to shoot, which was great. Super fun to get to travel. I mean, it's fun. It's so much fun to get a job like this anyway. And then when you get to travel internationally for it, it's just that much better. So,
What did you think of Japan?
sorry?
What did you think of Japan, actually?
I like Japan. I've been there 3 or 4 times. And every time I go, it's for work. So this particular trip, I think I only had 1 day off. We were there for a couple of weeks, and I only had 1 day off. And so I took the train to Kyoto, and that was amazing. Like that was so cool and so challenging.
Yeah, I figure.
To train by myself. And they didn't want me to go because, there's no signs in English.
Yeah.
Everything's character. So it's not like if I come travel to France, at least I can kind of figure it out, even if I don't speak the language, because like the letters are the same at least. But you go to Japan and it's just character. So that was kind of an adventure.
Well, I mean, you're welcome if you want to visit one day. I mean, okay, there are a lot of stuff written in English, but I always have. I mean, Robert came, so at this rate, I'm going to have, let's say, one DMC actor per every 2 years, let's say, and in 10 years I will have the entire cast, I hope. That will be an idea.
That sounds
Since you've been already working with Ruben and Dan, that's a question I'm actually going to ask to every member of the cast. In some videos, you can see that both of them, Ruben and Dan, are quite people who love doing jokes to people, making fun of. Okay, so you get what I'm going to ask. Do you have any fun stories involving you or not? Because maybe it's embarrassing, so you maybe don't want to talk about it. But any joke out there, anything that comes to your mind?
Oh gosh. No.
Okay.
Thing- yeah, it's okay. It's the stupidest story. I'm going to just share it because it came nothing to do with work. Dan and I were on a vacation together one time, and we've always just been friends, like just friends. And it was just like the middle of the night that I think we both got up to go to the bathroom, like around the same time, and just like scared the crap out of each other. We both screamed and were like, ah! That popped into my mind. It was so long ago. Yeah. No, they are, both of those guys are such jokesters. And I really try to stay out of their way. Like, I don't, I just stay on this side and laugh and go, keep it over there.
You didn't participate in anything, don't you? All right. Well, I'm going.
When we get off the call, I'm going to think of like 10 examples, and none of them are coming to mind right now. But I can tell you that it's none are coming to mind, because every time you're on set with them, it's happening all the time, nonstop.
Perfect.
Nonstop.
I'm going to make a collection of his stories at some point, because he was showing me a lot of stuff, and in his channel you can also see. Well, I'm not sure if it was on his YouTube channel. Actually, he was running around down with a big stick. He faked that the fact he was putting it on the toilet. They were running around. So yeah, I was like, oh my god, what did they do and we don't know about?
Children.
So given this was your whole complete experience in DMC4 with Trish and Gloria both as a voice actress and motion capture, would you be interested in doing that for any games in the future, maybe more in the games industry?
Absolutely. I love doing it. I love motion capture work. I love voiceover work. Yeah, it's really fun. I hope they'll call me to do more.
Well, I hope I hear your call. I mean, that would be quite nice. And funnily enough, when I saw Gloria's fight scene, it reminded a lot of fans of the video game series named Bayonetta, which is from the same creator as Devil May Cry, the original one. And they have the heroine is quite the same in the style. So I actually checked the game to see if you weren't the one who did it, and I found out that they actually had no motion capture actor.
Oh.
No.
Really?
Really. And the fighting style is quite similar. She has guns in their stilettos. Also, you can see her dancing around. That's pretty. I mean, you should check it out if you haven't heard of it.
It was fully animated?
Likely. They said they worked with lots of stunt people, but no dedicated one person who did it all. Or I tried to dig. I didn't find much. I mean, I quite expected actually to find the same person, because you have common voice actors from game to game. So I was like, why not? So I did the check, and well, I hope that they're going to call you for Bayonetta. That would fit. That would suit you.
I hope they do too. Everybody's telling them to call me. I need a job now, especially. I haven't worked in a few months with all this going on.
Well, we're going to launch a petition, because apparently Bayonetta 3 is in the working and we don't have news for quite some time. So let's go and knock to the door to have you go in. That would be a plan. One question I thought about, to see actually if we have the same opinion on this. Do you prefer Trish or Gloria?
Oh.
One of you, there's no.
I mean, I think if I have to choose, I love them both for different reasons, and I think if I have to choose, then I gotta say Trish.
All right. Well, I'm a Gloria one.
Yeah.
I'm a Gloria one. Like, I just love even the design of a character. I mean, short hair like that with cut like this, it's just already a selling point for me, and I just love the mix between her skin, her eyes, the color of her hair. For me, it's just dazzling. I look at Gloria, I just feel good glaring at her. Well, my girlfriend is watching, so I hope she's not going to take this as just making sure there's nothing wrong.
Gloria is the more, sultry, sort of slithery, where I think Trish is just more of the like hard, rough, kind of like raw in your face I don't know.
All right, so that was one or two question.
Let me just open my
Oh,
my
sure.
window. I have a bee flying around the
Oh, yeah.
house, so maybe he'll fly out. Hang on. My dog loves to catch flies, and I keep thinking, like, I hope she doesn't try to catch the bee.
Christoph saying that I should go to horny jail because I chose Gloria. Well, there you go. People judging me already. Everyone seems to agree. Great, great, great. Oh my goodness. So there was more people going back more maybe to your stunt work, and this was so Silver Wind says a question: experience with which style of dance translates the most to stunt work?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know that there's a particular style. If I were, let's see. Oh, such a good question. Maybe contemporary, because in contemporary dance you really like do a lot of more quick changes with your body. I think in general dance just translates really well to stunts because it's all body manipulation, body awareness. It's sort of like, I always call it monkey see, monkey do, right? So you're so in touch with your body that if somebody says do this, or they tell you, you have to lead more with your chest and then kick your heels up behind you, you're just able to process that and have your body respond. The difficult thing going from dance to stunts is that you're trained to have beautiful lines and to be fluid and graceful. And when you're doing stunts, you don't want to do that. You don't want to look graceful if you're supposed to be looking like you're getting wrecked. So it took me some time to learn to stop pointing my toes and doing a beautiful, like, long line, to have it be more messy. So I think contemporary is probably the answer to that question.
Excellent. I like the answer myself. Like, it's always nice to know how body movement translates into all the areas on anyone's life. I'm just looking at more questions. So Simon, again, he's very interested apparently in asking you questions, so that's very good, and thank you for that. It's quite a general question, so maybe you will have some time trying to think about it. What's been some of the most important lessons that you have learned through the course of your career?
Oh, well, thank you, Simon. That actually is my, I know the answer to that one because my whole career has been built on it, and it's face your fears. Doing stunts especially, but being in the entertainment industry in general has taught me to face my fears, like to really like stand in the face of things that you're afraid of. Um, and that's very liberating. You know, there's something amazing about overcoming that, to being afraid of something and then standing up to it and then succeeding. And there's no better feeling in the world. And so, especially from stunts, but even as an actress, and then also, having to, I think it's really just taught me to stand strong in who I am and believe in myself. Because in this business, you just get faced with so much rejection all the time, no matter how successful you are. Like, it's just a constant thing. So if you're not really, strong in who you are and what your own strengths and your own weaknesses are, because we all have both.
Yeah, of course.
Really knock the shit out of you, So you have to just be really grounded and really clear and believe in yourself, and then it's just business at the end of the day. You win some, you lose some. it's part of the adventure of it all.
like any sports, actually, you just don't win all the time, or then there's something wrong. Well, it makes me think the facing your fears is quite resonating. I mean, acting, like I know some people who went into acting because they were shy people. So I don't know if it's the case for you, but they usually try to learn to be less shy by going into other characters and learning something from being these characters into a story.
Yeah, it takes a lot of vulnerability. You have to really be willing to be very vulnerable, and that's good. I think that's a good lesson for everybody.
Just checking if there's another question. So Claudia says, well, Miss Burgio, if you like anime and haven't watched the DMC, the Devil May Cry anime, maybe you can watch it because that's where Trish had her next major appearance after the first Devil May Cry game. So apparently she retained a bit of her DMC4 self when it happened. So that would be nice to see. Like the anime isn't the best piece of DMC you've seen around, but the Trish character is quite faithful at the very least. So that's a nice watch nonetheless. And you have even an episode in a casino, so maybe you will like it.
Well, it's easier to do that now. I think when I first got the job, now you can go on the internet and you can find anything. But I don't know what year was the first one. It was even when we were filming for War. It was a lot of years ago. It wasn't as easy to research things and pull up old clips as it is now. So maybe I should. Maybe I'll go back, take a walk down Trish memory lane. It's a good idea.
All right. So as you said, like you need to be it's all about also facing your fears, and then you started writing for yourself, directing small movies. So most notably, Lucy Falls, Leaving You Behind, and Girl Trip. So
Yes. Well, leaving You Behind was a music video that I was a producer on, and I also played one of the characters on there for an artist named Emmy. It's a great song. It's an awesome video. Go check it out. But Lucy Falls was my first short film that I wrote, directed, produced, and I played Lucy. I took on, honestly, way too much, but I learned a lot, and I'm very, very proud of it. And then after that, I did Girl Trip, which Lucy Falls is a drama. It's about a woman in an abusive relationship. It's just 15 minutes. If you guys want to go check it out, you can find it on YouTube. Or no, it's on Vimeo, actually. And then when I did Girl Trip, it was just because I wanted to do something completely different. I was like, what's the last thing anybody would expect from me? So I did Lucy. Great. People already knew me from the stunt world, so they are expecting action. So Girl Trip is a comedy. And I was like, yeah, give myself like a super challenge to try to do something completely left field. And so that's 20-minute. It's fun. It's about 3 girls that go on a girl trip. And they go out to the desert and it all goes sideways. So it was fun. Both were tremendous learning experiences. And I kind of knew that I wanted to get more into writing and producing. So I did the couple of shorts just as education for myself. Like it was my version of going to film school, just dump myself in there and learn as much as I can. And I did. I learned so much. So now I have a partner, who is a director, and my producing partner and my writing partner. And we have several projects that we're developing and pitching right now as feature films. So that's what focus really has been for the last 2 years. And we had some good momentum, but COVID happened and it slowed things down a little bit, but we're talking to investors and we've got some interest in some projects. But I can tell you if we get them going, they are tremendous. They are full blown action, action, action. Um, but action with a lot of heart, because I'm not a huge fan of like a lot of action movies. I really lean towards more of the heartfelt movies that, quirky indie movies that are character driven, story driven.
Mm-hmm.
So my partner Andy and I are really committed to telling stories with a lot of heart, and just really good, deep character, and then having action be spectacular. And he's coordinated some of the biggest action movies out there. He did all the like Spider-Mans and Thor and some of those. So he's a brilliant storyteller, and he's a great director. And so hopefully we'll get those going, and then it'll be a launch of a whole new career for me.
Yeah, I mean, why not? After all, about Spider-Man, you're actually doing a small appearance in the Amazing Spider-Man, right? It
Yeah,
was.
and the Amazing Spider-Man. In it's credited as Nikki's girlfriend,
Uh-huh.
but it's after Peter Parker learns that his uncle's been killed, and he goes out looking for the guy, and he keeps running across the wrong person. And I think it's maybe the first one that he runs across. And I'm like in an alley having a fight with this guy that he thinks is the one. And so there's a short scene there. That was a lot of fun to work on.
I mean, sure. I'm looking if there's any question. Oh, Mary J has a nice question actually, because this is all about staying in shape. To do motion capture, you always need to stay in a good shape. So, do you keep some special diet? What helps you to keep such a great shape?
Oh, thanks, Mary. Yeah, well, from all my years of dancing and stunt work, I think, being generally physical has just been a way of life for me. At this point now that I'm not doing stunts and I'm a little bit older, a little more gentle on my body, because before I was doing a lot of martial arts, a lot of gymnastics. We were training on trampoline on the weekends when I was working with Mitch and Dan. But now I do a lot of Pilates and yoga and hiking. Um, yeah, that's kind of it. I work with like the resistance bands and just like small weights. I don't really personally love going to the gym, but it's very important for me to stay just generally physically fit. And yes, motion capture, it is quite physical. So you've got to be really strong and really agile.
Well,
Personally, I love Pilates, and I love just working with my own body weight. So also it helps me stay lean.
mhm.
There was a time that I used to go to the gym and lift when I need to bulk up. First, if I have a project where I want to bulk up a little bit, then I'll go hit some weights. But otherwise, just to stay sort of lean and tone and strong, yoga and Pilates and dance. I mean, dance is amazing because I get my cardio that way.
Mhm.
Um, and in a lot of my dance classes, we do like a pretty intense 45-minute, they call it a warm up.
Oh,
It's a workout.
sounds hellish.
Um, it, it's a pretty intense workout, but it's all with your own body weight. Yeah.
All right, so thanks, Mary, for that interesting question, because staying in shape is important to anyone doing physical stuff. So, sports people and actors in this case.
And
Um,
actually, she asked about the diet as well,
yep.
and I'm a big believer in, your food is your fuel. So the most important thing is that it's clean, so no processed foods and I mean, I do like fried food, don't get me wrong, but I eat mostly plant-based diet. And some people think that you don't get protein that way, but it's not true. There's actually more protein in broccoli than there is steak. So, um, yeah, I'm not completely vegan, although I aspire to be. Um, I'm not quite there, but I do believe in a good whole food plant-based diet.
Oh, same as Ruben, actually. Well, he's completely raised meat, but
I aspire to be more like Ruben. He's very disciplined, and
yeah.
it's good for your body
I-
and good for the planet.
If Dan is the same, I mean, I'm going to have three cases. I'm going to put a DMC bingo whether every DMC actor is going to be vegan or not.
I don't think Dan is vegan. But I know he, he believes as well. You've got to put good, clean fuel in your body, not just in your body, but on your body too. I'm particular about, even like shampoos and lotions and things like that, that they're pretty clean and they don't have too many chemicals and things like that.
Well, I guess I should get some shampoos because I let my hair grow like for the past weeks because of a last bet, but because, well, you probably saw that I usually have no hair, but I should get some shampoo. I think I'll take better care of my head now until I shave it again. I mean, that would be nice. I remember because when I was, well, younger, so I was an early teenager, I had curly hair just down there. That's a sight.
Wow, nice.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. So if the chat has any extra questions, be free to shoot them. I'm going to go slightly back in DMC4 and just talk about the character of Trish. And I know that you went into DMC4 without prior experience to the game, but I would like to know what's your view on Trish and compare also in their relationship to Dante, because there's some script and stuff given by the director, and so maybe there's some detail on the character that we don't necessarily know. So what's your vision of Trish actually? Maybe it's a bit wide, so maybe if...
Yeah, I mean, like I said, she's so independent. But personally, I think she's got something going on for Dante.
Oh, you think
I think
so?
they have chemistry. I think they have chemistry. I think this is my personal
Yeah,
take.
sure, it's not canon, so this is your one thing.
She's really too proud to admit it. But they have chemistry, and I think they're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just so sassy and so independent that she would never need a man. She certainly can take care of herself. And maybe that's to her fault, for her own good. I mean, she's feminine in a physical way, but in an emotional way, I think she's a little more masculine. Like, she'll use her femininity, but she's not a very emotional creature.
All right, that's interesting. Well, that's interesting saying about being independent because by DMC, well, I think there was a time when they lived together in the agency of Devil May Cry, and I think she went away after DMC1. I think she went a bit back and forth, but in between DMC4 and DMC5, she actually left. So Dante stayed all alone in DMC5 in his agency in the dark because he lost electricity and water. So that would be fun. Maybe he can handle being alone without Trish in a way. That would be nice to. That would be nice to know. I mean, some people. I know some. It's a divisive question too about Dante and Trish being potentially having a thing to each other, because Trish is created from the picture of Dante's mother. So people are like, how can you date someone who just looks like your mother? And some people are like, yeah, but she isn't, so whatever.
Yes, but there's something very Freudian in there, like I think they always say that, men end up marrying women that remind them of their mother. That's pretty common. So I think there's something there then. You never know.
To each their own. I'm actually more of a Dantean lady, but I guess why not?
Yeah. I think probably a lot of fans probably feel that way. I think Lady would be better for Dante than Trish, I don't think Trish is ever going to settle down with anybody.
Or maybe Trish and Lady together. Why not? I mean, since we're at
You
it.
know, exactly. Yeah, I don't think Trish is never. I feel pretty confident that Trish is not going to ever give herself up to one man.
All right. Out of the DMC topic again, back and forth. Alexei V ask again, and we are going to go into one of the last parts. How did you handle the COVID crisis?
Oh, hi, Alex. Thanks for asking that. Um, it certainly has been a test of strength and faith, hasn't it? Um, I'm a pretty spiritual person by nature, so I um, in the beginning, well, through the whole thing, I will say that I've really found a lot of silver linings. Um, I've personally enjoyed being home. It's really shifted a lot of the way that I just approach my life and my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And the spiritual part of that is that I think I really needed that personally. So I've really embraced being home in a way that I've never done before. I've really gotten very clear on who my inner core circle of friends are, and and how we support each other,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been really important. Um, I've become closer to my family in a lot of ways. We've always been close, but through this crisis, both of my parents actually got COVID. My father was very, very sick in the hospital um, for over a week. And I mean, I think he nearly died. He would tell you he nearly died. It was pretty stressful for the family. But in the long run, it bonded us in a way that it never has before. And we were all guilty. Like my parents are just like me, like we're go, go, go all the time. Like you're running around and you're traveling and we're all overachievers and we want to accomplish so much in this life and do, and forcing us all to just like slow down and think about really like what's truly important. It bonded us in a way that's been pretty amazing. Also, um, I'm one of the very many people that adopted a dog at the beginning of COVID. So my other dog that I had for years, Boomer, he passed away in February,
Oh.
and I was not planning on getting another dog because I was like, I'm going to be traveling and doing all these things, so I'm not going to get a dog. And then when I got locked down and I was alone, I was like, I'm totally getting a dog. So my dog Ripley has become like my little angel. She's very, very special. And our time over these last few months, it's been really special. I mean, I have a connection with animals in general, but there's something about this dog that I call her my little wolf. She's a German Shepherd. I don't know. Been pretty great, and it's given me an opportunity with my projects creatively and all that to kind of again slow down, go back, look at them, and make sure that they're the best that they can be, and get a really solid plan for moving forward. Then it's really tested my faith because I haven't worked in many many months, but I'm like, okay, I have to have faith that everything is okay, everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. And I do see so many silver linings. So it's hard and it's tragic in so many ways. I know a lot of people that it's affected, like my dad who was sick, but I know a lot of other people who have, suffered a lot by losing jobs or losing loved ones. And like, that's heartbreaking and my heart goes out to them. But in that, I think we can all like have a lot of empathy and sympathy for each other and support. And in some ways, I feel like we did kind of need this. So I'm sorry for anybody that's suffered a lot from it.
That's fine.
But hope kind of lean on each other. I think we need to lean on each other more. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's great that people just know that it's also time to feel a bit more united, a bit less personal, and take care of each other because some people just got struck with COVID and died. I mean, my father had it, but in pretty safe fashion. So since I live with him, I had it, but I was pretty safe. I had a friend of my dad who had it pretty hard actually. So you just never know, and it's not because you don't suffer that maybe one of your relatives might just d- pass away because of it, and that's sad. So that's why people must be cautious. And I'm very I like tolerance for people who don't just respect basic human decency and respect the rules about COVID. And you're like, come on, guy, the virus doesn't care about your liberty.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's simple things that we can all do to look out for one another. And for me, that's what it's about. It's about doing the right thing for everybody and for being there for each other.
Absolutely. And well, speaking about COVID, and what did you, how did you go into making those nice little jewels? Let's talk about your shiny stuff. So once again, if people are interested, you have a link in the description of the channel of the video. So it's Soul Shine LA. So
Yeah, Soul Shine LA. I have a little shop on Etsy where I sell it, but yeah, I love crystals.
mhm.
Um, I've always been drawn to them. And I realized that a lot of the jewelry out there is made from kind of junky. They like some of the cheap stuff you get, it's like made from kind of junky stones. They either heat treat it or they dye the stones. And I'm really into the sort of high quality stones. So I started making my own jewelry just for myself. And then people started asking me where I got it, and then I would say I made it, and they would say, "Do you have a store?" And I remember there was one week where I had like 10 people, like in a week, say like, "Do you have a store? You should have a store." And I was like, "Okay, maybe I should," you know. So I just opened up a little Etsy store, and it's been great because I basically, if I make enough money to keep doing it, like I don't really make money off of it.
Mhm.
I just make enough money to feed my habit. So it's just my way of maybe putting some good vibrations out into the world, if you believe in that kind of thing.
I don't.
And even if you don't, maybe it's just something pretty. Um,
Well, I'm not a believer,
yeah.
but it's really good looking. I have a friend who works in making jewelry actually, so I saw a bit of her craft too. So it maybe in a way industrial because she has to work not to work less good actually than she was supposed. That's how good she is. And so seeing yours, I mean that's really good looking stuff. So well, maybe that could be a good
If
gift
anyone,
to a certain someone I'm not speaking about. I'm not talking about, but we'll see in due time.
if anyone is interested, when you go to checkout, if you put 20 love in the coupon code, you get 20% off.
Oh well, excellent. So if people are interested, go for it. Why not? Yeah, really, really nice. I mean, I just say it because you can see when I'm seeing the page or not because it's all white all of a sudden because of my screen. So yeah, a lot of different stones. I mean, various works. 3 pages of it too. So
Yeah, I'm actually going to post, I don't know if I do it this weekend or on Monday or Tuesday, but I have a bunch of new pieces I'm going to post on there as well.
excellent. I mean, we did it at the right timing then. Yeah, apparently some people are already looking. That's nice. Um, Going back into maybe the last one or two last questions, and after that I will give you some minutes to freely express yourself, like talk about anything you'd like to say, just speak your mind. There was a nice question from Claudia. Since Lady was also mentioned, how was it like back then when doing DMC4 working with Laura Napoli, who did the mocap for Lady and Kyrie?
Yeah, Laura's great. It's fun, you know, our whole cast was really great. There were, you know, it was just a handful of us working together. And, you know, even though like maybe for 2, 3 weeks or something we worked together and you just become like a little family. Laura's lovely. Um, and we had a lot of fun. We had a couple of scenes together.
Yeah, fighting if, for Devil May Cry for special edition. So yeah, you had a couple of extra scenes.
Yeah, yeah, she's great, talented, sweet girl. Um, we had a good time. We had a really good time. We all did. It's fun. I mean, making games, like, what could be better? It's a good job to have.
That was the prequel to Girl Trip, I guess.
Yeah, there is no like cattiness or anything like that. Like Laura's very professional and lovely. Yeah, I haven't seen her in a long time. It was that was quite a few years ago that we filmed that.
Oh, well, I guess it's a good time for meeting again, or at least have some meditation, some Zoom or Skype meditation sequence with Ruben and all. I mean, all seem like into being in peace with your mind, so that would be a plan. Having
Yeah,
a meditation lesson online.
I stay in contact with Ruben and Dan, but the rest of the cast I haven't seen in a very, very long time. So.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, I'm pretty sure given Christoph or now Armoury for those who watching the chat. I mean, he's making a job. He's making a point at reuniting together. So maybe, just maybe, we'll have a day to meet them again. That would be a nice thing to do.
It would be fun.
So let's see if anyone has a question, yourself included, Chris, because he's been actually my moderator in the chat, so he's doing some duty for me.
Thanks, Chris.
So I'm just waiting maybe like a couple of seconds to see if something comes up to mind. I'm pretty satisfied with everything. Oh, so Simon, thank you, Simon, MVP Simon. What are some of the things that you love with writing? Are you delivering? Oh, and second question, are you delivering jewelry across the pond?
Yes, jewelry can go anywhere. As far as writing goes, I gotta be honest, it's so hard. I find writing so challenging, um, which is why I love working with Andy. Like, personally, I love having a writing partner because if I have to just write on my own, it's nothing gets done. But with Andy, it's great. He loves writing, and so he kind of like throws it all out. Like, he's the one that splashes the color on the page, and then I'm the one that kind of like draws the lines and goes, okay, put this over here and this over here. I do love developing characters. I think from being an actress, I really like try to get into the voice of the character. So once we kind of like spit out the story and kind of have an idea of the structure, that part for me is like the really hard part, and I don't really love it. That feels like work. But then when it comes to kind of like finessing it and giving each character their individual voice, I really love that part. And also, I'm kind of like the way my brain works, I'm kind of better at structuring it and being able to edit a script. Like a couple of the projects that we have, Andy actually wrote them. And then I did the editing and gave notes and helped like sort of like structure it and said we need to make it stronger here, we need to edit this out. And so I'm more of that kind of writer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, brain stuff. I'm ADHD myself, so it's pretty tough deals. It's it's an experience. Like, I didn't even know about it until 3 months ago, so it's been I'm 26, so it's already changing me actually.
Yeah, I have so much respect for people who do it because it's difficult.
Well, I I felt there was something, but I never understood why and how and what was it. So, and actually, that's from that point on learning that I decided to take on this podcast series. So that's a nice thing to have learned about it. And I had one last question. Well, actually, about the creating process, and you mentioned about how difficult it was to be your own producer for your first project. Um, how did you feel when you realized that there was a difficulty after another once you had a general vision of it all? Like you go into the project and you're like, I must think about this. I must think about this. How this doesn't add up. How did it feel?
Um, it felt so frustrating. So what happened for me with Lucy Falls was that I asked a friend of mine to direct it, and she's this amazing commercial director, a very successful commercial director. And as we got more into the pre-production and closer to shooting, she said to me, "I'm not going to direct this." And I was like, "What? No, you can't do this to me." And I already felt like I really had my hands full just being a producer and like organizing, hiring all the people and getting it together and ta ta ta. And she said, "This is your story. You have such a strong vision of this story because you wrote it and of this character because you're playing her." And she's like, "I'm not directing it because you are." And I was like, "No." I honestly furious with her. I mean, I got off the phone. I was shaking. I was so mad. I think I like burst into tears. I was like, I can't do this. And she said to me, "You're gonna thank me at the end of this." And she said, "I will help you. I will be on set and I will hold your hand and I will help you." And she's one of my best friends, and I love her. And that was the best thing she ever did for me. And it was another thing of facing my fears. It was so hard. Can you hear that crow?
Yeah, well,
Scream.
I'm thinking of my own, but my buddy's crow that I mentioned before we start the stream.
Yeah, he stops. So yeah, it was super frustrating. And I felt like I was so over my head.
Mhm.
I was flailing. I remember the first scene that we shot. I was trying to, be the actress, and I was like, I was sucking. I was terrible. I was awful. I was doing like the worst acting job of my life. Because I was so distracted. I had so many things going through my head, and it just forced me to have to like really like just try so hard to get focused. And it was a 3-day shoot. On the first day, I was flailing. I was a mess. And by the third day, I was like, okay, I think I got it. Like I had like gotten into a groove. Um, so yeah, it was frustrating because I had invested a lot of time and a lot of money, and I just didn't feel like I was bringing my best in any of the departments because I was just doing too much. But in the end, in the finished product,
Mhm.
now that I've like been able to step away and step back from it, like I am so that's one of the things I'm the most proud of my whole life, doing that little short film.
Well, I think
Um,
your artwork showed because as a stunt moment later on in 2018, so it was 2 years ago, you had actually an award for for your work. So it was if I got it right, it was the Artemis Women in Action Festival, I think.
yes, yes, Artemis Film Festival. It's a great festival here in LA that recognizes strong women in film. And a couple years ago, they presented an award to me, and it was amazing. That's the only award I've ever gotten.
Late congratulations, then. I mean,
It was great. And Lucy Falls played at the festival, as did Girl Trip. They both did.
absolutely. Well, that's so great. I mean, just you talking about all these things with such a smile. I mean, you look like accomplished.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's not not for lack of a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and fear, and frustration, and rejection, and all of that. But
And I think, well, regarding this, you will appreciate these words. It's not a question, but one of my lifelong followers on Twitter, is saying. So it's Mikael Ramirez, and he says, I would just like to say that Devil May Cry is a series that gave my life a lot of happiness, and Mrs. Burgio here definitely had a hand in it.
thank you. That's lovely.
So thank you, Mikael. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. Like this series just gathers for a reason. It's There's something in it. And so just to end this um, passionate talk together, I'm going to give you like a few minutes to speak your mind. So just like whatever you want. whatever comes to your mind. If you need to say thanks to someone like a lifelong friend, or say whatever, go for it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, there I'm not going to say any one person in particular, but there have been people along my path that have believed in me, um, and taken a chance on me in one way or the other. And they're the people that have gotten me to where I am, and how grateful I am, because there's a lot of people out there that will, try to tear you down.
Mhm.
Um, but I have been lucky to have a lot of support and some great people behind me. And sometimes it feels like, a long period of time before one of those people will pop up in your life. But I think we all have those cheerleaders a little bit here and there, and how important that is, and how important it is to be that for other people, and how important it is to lift other people up. Um, and I love communities like this. Like, I love, everybody has, like I was talking about my workout book, like everybody's different. So we all have something that we're passionate about or drawn to. And I love communities like this. Like, you find a common ground that you guys are all passionate about, if it's Devil May Cry or whatever it is that brings you together. Because at the end of the day, we are all one. And I love these opportunities that just, I don't know, bring us together and let us sort of commune. And it is what's important. I think the one thing that sticks out the most to me is what you said about COVID, and how it really is about supporting one another. So this to me is an opportunity to do that and to connect with people. Like, I love social media, and I love the technology that we have, and how amazing that COVID happened at a time where we actually could connect. Like, can you imagine if COVID happened before we had social media, or an ability to have a FaceTime with one another? Like, that's so cool. I'm talking to you, you're in France and I'm in Los Angeles. Like,
Yeah,
that's so
that's really great.
amazing, you know, and making friends on the other side of the world. Like, that's what's so cool to me about Devil May Cry, is that it has introduced me to so many people and made me friends all over the world, and people that I would have never met otherwise. And I don't know, that's really cool. So I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to me. Yeah.
I
Um,
I sure everyone had a real great time, and thank you for agreeing to spend so much of your time with us together. Like, everyone seemed to have a great time. People were asking you a lot of different questions at different areas, so we were really interested. And I'm really glad it turned out well, if there was less technical difficulties too. So thank you everyone who attended this second episode of Talking About the Devil. And I have some guests in the making, so this is not the last episode, far from it. I hope there's some. I'm still in the making for some people, but I'm sure you will love it. I will perfect my own way to be able to be a better host, and I hope people will enjoy it even more. And my other guests, I hope they will enjoy it as much as you do. So I love the fact that it's going to get somewhere and connecting the community in times in which cons are pretty much a thing that doesn't happen for obvious reason. So I'm glad that everyone gets to talk to each other. It's a perfect time to do so, and just I hope that this is going to continue. Um, so thank you everyone for watching us. So as a reminder, you have Mrs. Burgio's channel. So you have her Twitter in the description, as well as her official website, and her shop on social media. Sorry, it's just I'm getting thirsty because all of the English I think is starting to show. You can find as well my own Twitter on the description, as well as Ned Armoury, and thank you to him because he's been helping me out with various people from the DMC crew. So thank you, and see you next time, guys.
Thank you.
Bye bye.